Chapter 7 Karate configuration and Maven Surefire plugin. So in this chapter we are going to see what is a configuration in Karate, what is Surefire plugin, and how to execute the test cases from the command prompt. So let me start this session. So first question comes up, what is a configuration file? So whenever we are executing our automation frameworks related to a web UI or related to APIs, we need to have some information related to environments, related to a username, password, endpoint, a URL. So all those information we are saying those are the configurable variables. So we are going to save all those variables. One, you can save it in the properties file, but when we talk about this Karate framework, they have their own GS file, which is this configuration file. We call it as a Karate-Config.js file. So whatever the configuration which we are going to save it, we are going to save it inside this Karate-config.js file. So when we are saying we are going to have a configuration information, it is not only to save the information of a one environment. You can save the information of the multiple environment. Multiple environment in the sense, if you are working in the testing environment, you have different credentials, you have a different URLs, endpoints, but when you go to the staging environment, that's going to be different as well. So with the help of this Karate-Config.js file, we can save the configuration and we can distinguish between a different environment variables as well. So let's go and implement in our project. So this is the official website of a Karate Labs, which is say github.com Karate Labs Karate, and we can see we have a one section related to a karate-config.js file. So this is an example of a karate-config.js file. So this is nothing but a JavaScript code. What we are going to do is, whenever we are saying we are going to implement this karate-config.js file, we need to write this piece of code. We need to create this karate-config.js file in the class path, and whatever we are going to return it, we are going to return a object. So let's do one thing. Let's click on this button. Now we have copied this particular piece of code, commit here inside this particular karate session project. So this karate session project we have created in the previous session. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a karate-config.js file. So let's commit here new, we can say file. Let's provide the name as karate- we can say config.js file, and we can paste the code which we have copied it from the side. So this code is written in a JavaScript. So whenever we are saying function, and this is a function name, and whatever the contents, whatever the code which we have written it, we are going to write it inside these curly braces. So first line is saying where environment karate dot environment. So this we are going to get it from the command prompt, but at this moment, whenever we are going to execute this piece of code, this will be a blank as well. So it is saying if environment is equal to dev, and it is going to commit here. So whenever we are returning anything from this particular function, so that we able to use it, we need to return a JSON object, and this is example where we're saying where config, and inside this config, so this is nothing but a JSON object. We have the app ID, we have the value as well. So this is the key and this is the values. These are the information which we are going to save it inside this config. So this is a JSON object, and whenever we are going to return it, whenever we are going to call this karate-config.js file, we are going to say we are going to return a JSON object. Then we can use whatever the variables which we have added it here, we can use it in our test cases, in our feature files as well. And one of the another important part, in case right now it is a some URL base. So this is the URL. If you want to update it as per your environment, take an example of if you have a staging environment, and this some base URL which is presented here, that will be changed. If it is environment is equal to the stage, so we are going to implement in this session as well. But let's do one thing. Keep in mind we have this karate-config.js file which we have added it in this particular class path. Now let's commit here inside this parameter request.feature file. So instead of committing it here inside this parameter request.feature file, we can directly go to the get request.feature file. Here this is a one scenario, it is going to invoke this particular go rest co.in, which is a get request. Now what we are going to do is we are saying we are going to print the value. What value you want to print it, because we have this variable which is this karate config, we have this some URL base. So let's commit here inside this get request, we are going to use this variable. Another thing you need to keep in mind whenever you are invoking this Karate-Config.js file. So this Karate-Config.js file will be invoked for every scenario. Whatever the feature files you have it, if you have 100 scenario, then this Karate-Config.js file will be reinitialized, and this will be executed or reinitialized before invoking any of this scenario. So this is the behavior we need to keep in mind. So let's do one thing. Let's go and run this get request. So we have this runner file which we have created in the previous sessions. So instead of have this parameter request, we are saying get request. Now we are going to invoke it, say right click and run. This is going to invoke this get request feature file. It is going to send a request to this users to this endpoint, then it is going to validate it 200 status, as well as it is going to print the value which is this a sum URL. So we have able to execute this successfully. So if we scroll it down, we have the report. Let's click on this. It is going to open this. Click on this get request features, and when we click on this, then print some URL base. So we able to get the URL which is present inside this particular Karate-Config.js file. We can see it is saying Karate some host, which is having the same value as we have it here as well. So another important part, take an example of right now we are saying if we are having the Karate environment is equal to dev, then it is going to have these. So we want to have the staging as well. Then let's do one thing. Let's come it here. We are saying environment. What are we doing it? We are going to assign the value, which is this a stage as well. So now if we go and run this, so instead of we getting previously you guys were getting this some host URL, we will get this stage host URL as well. So let's commit here inside this runner, say run, and it is going to invoke the test case, and it is going to print the URL which is present inside this Karate-Config.js file. We can see it is successfully executed. Now commit here and let's go and refresh this. When we commit this some URL base, this time it is a staging host as well. So in this way we can use the variables. If you want to add the variable, then you need to add it inside this config.js file, which is this config object, because at the end we are returning this config, which is this as well. So let's have this. We are saying test env, and when you want to assign some value, you can assign it inside as well. We can say it is a dummy test. But when we guys are talking about a CI/CD pipeline, we are executing our test cases with the help of the Jenkins, Azure, AWS, then this is not a good approach. Every time you commit here inside this Karate-Config.js file and update the environment where you want to run and execute the test cases, then what is another approach? What we are going to do is we are going to pass this environment variable value from the outside, from the command prompt, from the CI/CD pipeline. Then what we need to do is we need to make a changes first in the runner file, or in other sense we can say first we need to change in Karate session, so that we able to adopt this environment is equal to stage, or environment is equal to any other environment. So let's do one thing. Let's comment out this environment is equal to stage. Right now what we are doing it, whenever we are going to execute the test cases, we are right click and say run. So this is also we need to make a change. What we are going to do is we need to update this pom.xml file. We are going to execute the test cases from the command prompt, from the terminal. Then we are going to add a one more plugin here. We call it as a Surefire plugin. So that Surefire plugin, which we are going to add it here inside the pom.xml file, that Surefire plugin help to execute the test cases, and that Surefire plugin is going to target this runner file. And whenever we are going to execute the test cases from the outside, and it is going to be easy to execute runner as well. So let's commit here. Right now we have this Maven Surefire plugin using TestNG. Let's click on this, scroll it little down. We have this plugins as well. So this is a Maven Surefire plugin. So this Maven Surefire plugin help to execute the test cases, whatever the test cases we are having inside our classes. So let's copy this, and we can commit here inside this particular pom.xml file. We are going to add a one tag we call saying plugins, and inside the plugins we are going to paste which we have copied. So this is a plugin Maven Surefire plugin, and with the help of this Maven Surefire plugin, we are going to execute the test cases. Right now, this is related to testng.xml file. We are not using a testng.xml file. We need to target, we need to provide the path of this runner file here. So let's do one thing. Let's remove this suit XML. We are going to say include, and inside the include we are going to have this include as well. So we are going to include what we are going to say. We are going to say runner.java. So whenever we are going to execute the test cases from the command prompt with the help of the Maven, it is going to target this runner.java and it help to execute the test cases. So now let's do one thing. After adding this Maven plugin, we are going to refresh this. So let's refresh this to download the dependencies. We can see it has downloaded. Let's commit here. What we are going to do is we are going to go to the terminal, say open in Explorer, and go inside this Karate session. We are going to say we are going to go to the command prompt. Whenever we are going to execute a test cases with the help of the Surefire plugin, we are going to use a MVN, which is this a Maven. Then we are saying clean help us to clean the directory. And if we see it first, it is going to remove this target. And after removing the target, we are saying what we are going to execute it. We have a one phase, which is this a test phase. So test phase help us to execute the test cases. Whenever we are saying test, then this Maven Surefire plugin will come into the picture. Now let's do one thing. Let's press enter. It is going to execute the test cases related to this particular runner. First, it is going to compile it. It is going to clear all the test cases, and we can see it is running a runner as well. So let's open this plus control and click it. It is going to open this get request.feature file. Let's click on this and we can see we are able to get the information related to a subhost.com as well. Now in case if we scroll it up as well, we can see we are getting the information related to different URLs or the variables which we have mentioned it here, and here we are able to get Rust go.in as well. So in case if you want to run the test cases for a different environment, right now we are having this particular environment, we are having this dev environment. If you want to print the values of this stage as well, then what we are going to do is we are going to provide the environmental variable of Karate from this command prompt. We are going to say mvn, we are having this clean test -d, we are saying karate.env is equal to, and then what is the value? We are saying we are going to run the environmental related test cases. So we are saying mvn clean test space -d karate.environment. So this environment is getting it represented by this karate.environment, which is present inside this Karate-Config.js file. So let's press enter. Then it is going to update the environment variable and it is going to print the information related to a Karate URL instead of having a dev URL which we are using it previously. Now we can see we able to commit here. Let's press control and click on this Karate HTML file. Let's click on this and we can move inside this, and if we say some URL, we are getting this information instead of having a previously we guys were getting a somehost.com. Now we are getting this stage host. So when we commit here inside the framework, we are having a stage environmental related thing, which is this stage host v1 auth, and previously we guys were getting this particular because we were having a dev as an environment. So in this way, whenever you want to execute the test cases from the command prompt, we need to make a slight change in this pom.xml file. In this pom.xml file, we need to add a Surefire plugin. This is a Maven Surefire plugin, and we need to include a runner.java. So this runner.java is going to present or directed to this runner, and it is going to execute the test cases. And whenever you want to execute the test cases and change the environment related to a Karate-Config.js file, we need to use a -d karate.environment is equal to stage. And in this way, we can execute the test cases with the help of the command prompt. So that's it in this chapter.